What's up, guys? Today is a beautiful day. Not too cold, I believe. It's gonna be a day where I could possibly go out. Got a little sick though. Can't admire it too much. It was like 60s last 2 days, and then overnight it dropped 30 degrees. I slept with the windows open, got a little sick. But anyways, today I want to share with you guys something that I really think is like one of those things I should intentionally try to hit it over the top. Right? You know how there's some things I just drag on the point too long. This is one of those things that I really am going to do so on purpose, because it's one of the simplest things, again, that is thrown around a lot, but nobody goes out and steps in and gives a massive amount of emphasis and shakes people up to understand how important this is, right? And that is simply using your time more effectively, right? How many times do we hear that on a daily basis, right? Using your time more effectively, prioritizing your time, and all that shit. All right, so what I'm going to share with you guys about this is an activity I did about a month ago, and it was the single best. It's the king of all these types of activities when it comes to finding your time, right? Like, as entrepreneurs, we like this shit. I like it. I'm a nerd for this shit, right? Anytime it's do this and you'll start your A game. Do this one technique and you'll start fresh in the morning. All that kind of stuff, I'm like a nerd for. I love it. Anytime somebody recommends it, especially, I'll put a significant amount of effort to give it a good shot to see if it works. And going in that line, this is one of the best ones that I came across, and it's just as simple as hell. So let's get into it. I got confused about a cough/sneeze, and that never happens to me. All right, basically, as soon as you wake up, you put in the time, and then you put a dash, and then what the activity you did. When you're done, you put that time, and then the next activity when you start, put the activity, and then when you're done with the activity, you come back and put the time when that was done. Simple as fuck. You see, it's probably one of those things you could have thought about to do yourself, but you probably wouldn't, because it takes a lot of time and energy, and you need confirmation from another source before you did that. I did that too. I actually got this from, I think, Matt Diggity, which is pretty weird, because this is the only life tip I think I took from Matt Diggity, literally, because usually it's just like SEO tips. Anyways, that's cool. As you can see, first of all, disclaimer, so you don't think I'm an absolute freak. I don't wake up at 3 o'clock every morning, right? I have a cat now, which is my alarm clock. It keeps scratching at the door. It's one of the best alarm clocks I ever had, right? You can't shut it off. You have to go out with it to give it food and pet it, right? And what happens is, once I do that, I can't go back to sleep. I get it from my mom, right? 3 o'clock doesn't matter. I can't go back to sleep. My sleep has been broken, and I just go to work. I meditate, I go to work, but then I do take naps at like 6:30. Lately, anytime I wake up before 4:30, or around 3 or 2 o'clock, some of these days I've been working at 2. It works out because I sleep pretty early, 9, 10 o'clock. And, I work, then I take a nap at like 6:30, 7 for like 1 or 2 hours in the afternoon. I sometimes nap. A lot of new territory, guys. Not going to stand here and say that, this is all like, I'm got used to. My whole life, I've never taken naps. It's just very recently I've been able to kind of just adhere to these things. If I'm waking up because my cat woke me up, okay, I'll work. When I get really tired, I'll go to sleep. When I can't work anymore, I'll take a break. It took me a long time to do this, so I wouldn't advise it, but I'm just giving you guys why it looks like I'm waking up so early. But I wouldn't advise that. I would really recommend sticking to a schedule. I have done that hardcore discipline for a long time before I could get to a point where I can kind of just like juggle things and it'll still work out. I can balance things and all that shit. Anyways, going back to this point. It's simple as that. What you're going to do, the purpose is to take a block of your life, how you spend your time on earth, a block of it, everything you do, minute to minute. It's a little hardcore. In the beginning, you might have some trouble. You'll just do the morning, and then in the evening, you'll be, oh fuck, I forgot to update it. You can't go back and be accurate. It's not possible. You're going to have to start the next day. But the point is to do at least a block of 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks, you're going to write down everything you do. And what's interesting is, while you're attempting to do this activity, you're going to find out that you're already going to be more efficient, even attempting to do this activity. Because nobody wants to write down on their journal that, yes, unfortunately, the last 45 minutes I was staring at an email, but I warped out and went into another dimension and chased this thought until I came back and woke up, right? Nobody wants to write down that they dozed off. And since you have that kind of pressure, you're going to be utilizing the time better. And even then, when you have that pressure and all that stuff and you're doing better than normally, you'll be mind blown at the end of 2 weeks how much time you waste at certain activities. Like, I didn't know on average I spend 3 hours every single day on average. In the last, like in 2 weeks block, every single day, on average, I spend 3 hours on phones. Talking to maybe a business partner, talking to a friend. I only talk to a handful of people, but I just have really long conversations with them every single day, right? So that's that. I saw that that was a problem. Another thing I didn't realize is that every time I'm changing gears, going into another activity, there's like a huge block of time that I waste, which now I'm trying to, get out of or block things together, because that's what it really comes down to. It's not that you're not going to be, not only you're going to get out of it is that, be more focused and stuff, but you're going to realize how to bring things together, how to take out certain things that's not bringing results, and just being more efficient. It really comes down to that. You know how the saying goes, the fastest way to read a book is not to read it at all. If you know right at the beginning, it's not a, usually, you should, if you're not a reader, you should try to read. But if you are a reader and you're trying to have a goal and you're trying to read books for that, the fastest way to read that book is not to read it, because you already understood by skimming through it that this doesn't have anything that's going to help me, right? That's a lot of the stuff that's going to happen in the beginning. You're going to find out shit that you're doing a lot of, which is not getting you anywhere. It's inspired by somebody I talked to yesterday. This is why I'm actually making this video now, right? So this is for you. Now that I have that pressure, you told me that you are working on average 8 a.m. to 3 a.m. at night, which is harder than I have ever worked. And I thought I worked pretty hard. So, and you, in 6 months, you haven't gotten any results, right? Now you're feeling like to quit. Please, man. You have the drive, you have the work ethic. I mean, you have the willpower. Please utilize it in the right direction and things will blow up, right? So, wanted to say that, you could quit the video now. This is probably everything you would need to know, but I really want to take the time in the next couple of minutes to hit it extra home, like one of those points where I drag it too long. I intentionally want to do it with this one because it's just one of those very simple things that is thrown around a lot of times, by all kinds of Facebook groups and stuff like that, but nobody puts that kind of emphasis. Realize certain facts, guys. Time is not linear. You don't need LSD to prove that to you. It's just not linear. If time was linear, if it was actually straight, how the clock tells us, then don't you think, as evolved as we are, as sophisticated the human mind and brain and consciousness is, within weeks after we learned to talk as a kid, we could have just been like, oh, it's 5:43. And after like 45 minutes, we could be like, it's 6. I don't know math, but you get it, right? We wouldn't need a clock. We don't need a clock to tell us, like what's in front of us, like, that I have this box in front of me. Then we wouldn't need a clock to tell us what time it is. But we do. Because even though there's one-dimensional way to track how the time is progressing, we're in and out of different kinds of mindsets and zones, and consciousness is going in circles. That's why we need a clock. You get it, right? So having that said, it should open up the idea that, okay, it's all about how you're using every single blocks of your time, 10 minute by 10 minute, hour to hour, day to day, right? That's why meditation is so important. It is the art of focusing on one thing, right? If the distractions are thoughts that are coming in and all kinds of stuff that's like, throwing us apart, and a solid 10 to 20 minutes in the morning of the day when you're just focusing on one thing, in and out, sounds very wrong, but your breath is going to teach you to focus, and that done consistently translates into the rest of your life. It just makes sense, right? Anyways, understand that time is not linear. Giving two spectrums, right? And I thought about this before, when I thought about this example before. There's a woman who lives on this road, and she was out here probably this morning, right? You can see today is plastic day, right? Like, meaning that you can't throw trash out, you have to throw just plastic bottles and stuff, right? It's it's just one of those things that we have here in America because they want to make us feel like they care about the environment, etc. Anyways, basically what this woman does, and she lives on this road, she is probably like the wife of a man who owns a house in this road. Average houses here start at 750K. It's average is probably over $1 million in New Rochelle, right? she goes out and picks up bottles from other people's trash around the neighborhood, and then she heads to this place in one of the shopping malls right here, or whatever you call what do you call it, grocery stores. In the back they have this like dispensary where you can put the bottles in and you get like some cents per bottle. That's how she's using her time. Okay, that's one spectrum. Like that's an extreme example, but you get the point, right? There's people out there doing that kind of stuff, and you can see and what's her hourly worth, or where she's getting at her goals. I don't know. I mean, before I put so much hard judgment, I mean, who knows? For all intents and purposes, her goal might be the act of doing something that will bring you down to earth while you have an excuse to do a morning walk. I don't know. But on the other side, guys, there's people like we admire a lot. People like Elon Musk, same 24 hours. But he's trying to take our race to another planet. Isn't it unfair? He has the same time as us. Like, there should be some kind of, if there was some kind of universe update that anybody who cares about the whole race to a certain degree will get an extra 4 hours. Like Elon Musk, you get 28 hours. But it's not. It's the same, right? Take these things into account and then realize we're trying to grow a business. It's things like this. It's kind of hardcore thoughts like that convinced me and finally allows me to stop working in the evening. I never thought, like 6 months ago, a year ago, if you asked me how much you were trying to work, I almost took it as an insult. If you were an entrepreneur and you're trying to get results and you're not putting in minimum of 8 to 10 hours, I took it as an insult. I took it as an insult. You're insulting the game. You think you can get something out by not putting in that much effort. I almost got pissed off. But now that I'm at this point and I'm still at shock, certain things I'm still at shock that I'm able to do now. This is one of them, just like getting the clients like that. This is one of them like that. Like, I never thought I'd come to a point where I can be, finishing my work at 6, 7 o'clock and be okay. I wake up pretty early, usually around 5:30, and I work afternoon. I take breaks, I take naps, I go out for walks, I go to the gym, all that shit, and still I stop my work around 5, 6 o'clock, maybe 7. Usually I don't work past that. Even if I'm doing something, I might be watching some videos for pleasure, all that shit, but I'm not working. And it's okay. In the beginning, I was working not twice more, but at least 50% more. On average, 12 to 14 hours, and I was not getting much where, right? It took me 8 months to get 2 to 3 clients. The last 3 clients came in 15 days. It's a massive wake up for me. So it should be, if you're in that stage where you're like our buddy here, who's putting a lot of hours every day and it's not getting anywhere, really take some time and take a step back and look at where the hell you're spending your hours, right? And this is a great exercise to do so. All right, peace.